Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union energy update. I never plan on doing these. It's the wildest thing. I never plan on doing things. I know that I want to keep doing collective readings like this, but it's just so crazy when it depends on my schedule, and then it's just so crazy when I'm able to actually do it or why I'm called to do it, especially the past couple of days. The past couple of days has been, gosh, just a whirlwind, hasn't it? If you have missed anything, go ahead and check out the Sacred Channeling on Susan Dawn Ascension Connections, my sister channel. Make sure that you are catching up and keeping up here on the Sacred Union energy updates. And make sure that you're following me on Instagram or Facebook, where I cross post from Instagram, because that's where I do most of the bonus readings and where you can stay up to date on everything that is going on with these readings. Okay, so it has been wild. I don't have another word for it. So, as we've been channeling, there's been kind of a disconnect. I was going to call it separation. I was going to call it a division, and it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like a disconnect. Now, up until this point, I want to say for the past several months, the past year, the energies between the divine masculine and the divine feminine have been quite merged, to the point where divine feminines, you fully feel at home within your masculine energy. You feel your masculine as part of you. So it doesn't quite feel so stark a contrast. I'm going to put it that way. It doesn't feel such a contrast. Like, this is my masculine energy and this is my feminine energy. There's been a merging, there's been a wholeness, there's been a union that has been taking place inside of you. Even the readings that we've been doing, it's been kind of a merged energy where not only you mirroring each other, but the readings are coming out not so much a differentiating aspect of divine masculine, divine feminine. It's what's happening together, what's happening as union. The past couple of days has been very interesting energetically, because, and I love that you guys are sending me emails and writing comments and letting me know that you guys are going through the same thing, because this is affirmation of what is happening within the collective. There's been a disconnect, and I'm hearing that this has been for divine protection, because these masculines are going through it. And I know we say that a lot, but this is a deepening of their ascension, a deepening of their awakening journey. When I was driving to work today, I just kept getting downloads after downloads after downloads. And it doesn't usually come in as a stream like that anymore. Usually when I was first starting out, I wasn't quite aware of what was happening and the downloads that I was getting. It was still very new to me. Now I get these downloads and these insights all the time, but it was interesting because I'm not called to, channel right then and there. I was called, this is a really important message. This is really interesting what's happening. This is a major shift that's happening. I did pause because I was on my way to work, so I did have to pause, and I wasn't able to do the channeling just then, but they're reminding me of it now. And Spirit is always patient. There is never a reason to hasten. So at least with me and my Spirit team. So I asked them, I said, okay, I'm getting it. I understand what you're trying to say. It's because the energy is shifting so very quickly. This morning there was, and I felt like the masculine energy again. It's really been easier to differentiate between what is mine and what is my outer masculine experiencing. And I don't even want to say that like that, because it's all part of you, especially as your counterpart is part of you. It's all part of you as well. But you can really discern what is yours and what is somebody else's and what is the collective and what they're experiencing. Your masculine energy is having their own experience. I should say it like this. Even though the masculine energy within you is embodied in another person, they have their own experiences, they have their own emotions, they have their own feelings, they have their own thoughts. Even though you guys have that shared energy, that shared frequency, even though you are that same soul, so to speak, your person's experiencing their own experience. Even though you're doing this together, your person's experiencing their own feelings and thoughts, etc., etc., etc. You're your own person. You're your own person in your own wholeness. Don't forget that. So you can differentiate. You can feel what your person is feeling And it's not that necessarily that it's outside of yourself, but that you can understand, you can differentiate between, okay, what is my energy and what is my person's energy. And it's hard to just explain. It is all one energy. It is all, combined. It is all merged. But especially as you're going through this process of coming into union and coming into oneness, you can feel a little bit of that disconnect or that division. I'm going to go into that in the Twin Flame workshop that I have upcoming in April. So make sure that you stay tuned for announcements on that. We'll talk a lot about masculine energy, feminine energy, twin flames, how you can feel the energy together, what it means to be embodied, what it means to be in union, what it means to feel the merged energy, and how you're still individual people. That's the important part. You're still individual people having individual experiences, so you don't take on the responsibility and the life of the other person. They're still living their life. They're still having their own emotions, their own thoughts, etc., etc. So even though you're sharing this energy, remember that it's almost like it's for accelerated ascension. You're one soul, but that one soul is experiencing life in a number of different ways, because what greater way to expand the soul than through experience, than through life. So, okay, back to this morning. I felt my divine masculine energy, or my divine masculine's energy, in a way that I hadn't in a while. In a way that it felt like it was coming from the outside in rather than just inside of me, for lack of a better way of articulating it. So the divine masculine felt angry, but that anger, what I kept hearing from my spirit team was underneath all of that was grief. And I just kept seeing a divine masculine just on their knees, just crying and releasing. And there is no weakness in that. There is no weakness in tears, especially if we are talking about masculine energy, especially if we're talking about male masculine energy. That is the programming, the conditioning that we have experienced, and that is what is being dismantled now. So seeing the divine masculine on their knees and crying in that grief, in that release, was actually the most beautiful and humbling experience. Not because we want to see anybody cry, not because we want to see anybody in pain, but because this was an expression of the soul. Now, this was just a vision that I had. It was the vision of the collective, a symbol of the collective masculine energy and what they were experiencing. And previously we had channeled that it didn't quite feel like a full-fledged dark night of the soul. Well, today it did. Today it felt like a dark night of the soul, almost like it was building up to this. And I keep seeing a tower, like the tower card in tarot. And so it feels like this is a collective tower moment for the divine masculines, especially those who had been in resistance to their ascension, to their awakening, a deep-seated awakening. This is a higher level of ascension. This is a higher level of awakening. And it's requiring them to go deeper than they've ever been. It's requiring them to be more vulnerable and intimate with themselves, more connected to themselves than they've ever been. On the feminine side, you are feeling this and releasing this too. For you, I feel like you're feeling grief and disappointment and releasing those energies around your connection as you are continuing to release the connection. That releasing of the connection is actually helping you come more into union and harmony with yourself, which is going to pull in and attract or align you to a divine partnership or your divine partnership. But there's been some, and this feels like such closure. This feels like there is such closure around this cycle that you were experiencing. That cycle had been ending. The phase of your journey that you had been on previously had been ending for the past several months, especially since the autumn months. Especially since this time last year, we had channeled The Journey's End, where there was a significant phase or cycle of your journey that was coming to a close. And what that was all about, it was the healing aspect of the journey. Now, you're always healing because you're always expanding, you're always evolving. So you're always releasing old programming and shifting and choosing new conscious ways of being, ways of living, ways of loving, ways of embodying your authentic soul self. And so, but the active healing, the triggers and the traumas that really had a hold on you, where you were doing the meditations, especially for the feminines, because you did this in a very different way than the masculines. The masculines have been healing from a place where they're really playing out their experiences. And you've done it from a very different way. Up until this point, it's shifting a little bit. Divine masculines, as they've become more aware of the connection and more aware of themselves and more aware of their divine spirituality and divine surrender, which we talked about over on Susan Dawn Ascension Connections, that complete surrender video, the more they are ascending higher, removing that ego or the spiritual ego, whichever one that they were really attached to, the more that they're understanding that there is a deepening of this connection for themselves, within themselves, and a deepening of this understanding of what ascension really is. And so they're now, so I'm going to go back to Divine Feminine's meditations, energy healing, even tarot readings to guide her on her journey or help her access her own inner wisdom. And the more she has been trusting and accessing her own inner wisdom and her own intuition, the less she's needed those modalities, because it's happening just naturally, just organically. Energy healing is happening organically. You still can go to trusted soul friends or soul family or energy healers or guides for that confirmation and that validation within yourself if you need somebody to reflect it back to you. But you're also approaching it from a different way, where you're saying, you know what, I know that I have this wisdom inside of myself. I know I understand I understand that I have all of this within me, but I just need to be articulated a little bit better so that I can get some clarity around it. It's not a need anymore. It's not an attachment. It's definitely not a codependency anymore. It is just a clarity. I'm just going to use myself as an example. I'm doing a lot of my own organic healing now. It's happening very naturally in my everyday life. Being able to transmute like that very quickly. I snapped my fingers in case, there it is. There it is. Okay, it's happening very quickly. Transmutation is happening very quickly, where I'm able to say, oh, that's an old pattern, that's an old pain, that's an old trauma that I'm operating in. Let me choose differently, because I don't want to operate in that pain pattern. I don't want to operate in that trauma. And so making a different decision is transmuting and shifting the energy. But if I am stuck, for example, if I feel like, for example, a couple of weeks ago, I felt, oh my gosh, there's something that I need to heal. I can feel it. I just don't know what it is. And so I turned to a soul sister for a reading, and she was able to bring forth, oh my gosh, that's what it is. That's what I'm working on now. I could feel it. I could feel the energy of it. I just didn't consciously understand it. So it's happening very organically, and you're approaching your healing in a much more natural and organic way. But don't negate, what you needed to get you on the journey. If you're still turning to readings, if you're still turning to healings to help you understand the journey, that is perfectly fine, because that's where you are in your path. We all do it at certain times in our lives, but don't negate your own inner wisdom. And I feel like that's where the Divine Masculine has been, where they are accessing their own divine wisdom, where they had been playing out certain things. Now they're turning to their own meditations. Now they're turning to perhaps readings to get more clarity on, oh my gosh, this is the journey that I've been experiencing. This is validation for me. This is confirmation for me. They're reading books that they're now understanding things from a new perspective. So you both have really ascended into what I like to call the higher heart ascension. So you've moved beyond the major triggers and the major trauma healing and the major pattern shifts, more into conscious awareness of the connection and of the journey, which is really helping you to just move into the next phase of your journey. Again, higher heart ascension, which is all about embodiment, not just being aware of spirituality or ascension or your awakening or your connection to God or your connection to each other, but now you are embodying it. You're embodying your sacred self. You're embodying your sacred path. You're embodying the human being of who you are now. So Divine Masculines feel like they have been going through it, and they have just been, especially those in resistance, have just been brought to their knees. And there's this feeling of anger that had been bubbling to the surface, but that anger was a vessel, a container, they're saying, for the grief that they had been suppressing. And this grief can be a number of things. This could be a grief of, oh my gosh, I lived my life like this up until this point. I can't believe that this is the life that I lived. I can't believe that this is who I allowed myself to be. because of this greater awareness. They recognize that they can be more, that they can have more. They had just suppressed themselves according to other people's expectations, according to duty, according to their own lack of value or lack of self-worth that had been brought about by pain patterns, that had been brought about by trauma. Now, we don't blame the experiences that we've had. We have certain experiences, but as I said in yesterday's channel or the other day, we take those experiences and we learn from them, and we make conscious choices to do different or to be different. That is what evolution and growth is all about. It's that awareness, and not just the awareness, but the conscious choice to act better, to be better. That's not putting pressure on yourself. That is having compassion. That is not putting an expectation of, I have to be perfect. You are perfect in this very moment, right here, right now. And the more that you consciously choose yourself, not from an egotistical standpoint, not from a place of arrogance or conceit, but from a place of, this is who I am, this is my heart, this is my soul, recognizing that, the more you consciously choose things that are aligned to that soul self, things that are aligned to your higher self, things that are aligned to that heart, that it is perfect because you are exactly where you need to be in the present moment, right here, right now. So they had been feeling grief because, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I had lived my life like this up until this point, or I can't believe that I had abandoned myself, betrayed myself, neglected myself, rejected myself, that I had sacrificed myself, that I had sacrificed love, that I had pushed love away. For some of you even, they're looking at the connection and they're seeing where they had pushed love away. And love was the thing that they had always yearned for, longed for, that they had always felt within their hearts. Because these divine masculines are extremely sensitive and extremely loving and extremely nurturing. But they have suppressed it and held it in and held it back. That's stoicism. Or they had expressed it in distorted ways because they didn't understand it. They had never had the opportunity to understand it, whether it was from family dynamics, especially parental figures, or from friendships or other relationships. They had never truly understood what love is, because they have never truly understood love for themselves until this point. And as divine feminines know, when you love yourself and you deeply connect to yourself and to God's source, then the whole game changes. All right, so they're pulling back on all of that. I don't even know how long we channeled there. Wow, okay. I do want to, okay, so this morning it felt heavy. And the energy shifted around midday. At least that's when I felt the shift. And things got lighter. Things got more bubbly. Things got more, when I say things, I mean the energy got lighter. The energy got more bubbly, especially for the divine feminines. And I feel like she kind of disconnected entirely from the divine masculines, and that's divine protection. And it feels like the masculine is actually protecting the feminine. What I'm getting is, it's not just, when we say divine protection, it's not just God or the universe protecting the divine feminine by having her disconnect from her masculine, whether energetically or physically. This is divine protection in the way of the masculine is shielding the feminine. Please keep holding my light, divine feminine, is what I'm hearing. Please keep holding the light for me. Please keep shining bright. I need you to keep shining bright. Because the masculine, in his unconditional love for the feminine, I know divine feminines, it doesn't always feel that way. Even for me, it's very hard for me. Doing what I do, it's very hard for me sometimes to feel that love from divine masculine. But divine masculine truly does have unconditional love for the divine feminine. And the divine masculine is their higher self at the very least. We're not talking about their 3D behaviors, their physical behaviors. Their higher self is saying, is shielding you from the energy, the heavy energy and the difficult energy that the divine masculine is experiencing right now. But they're coming out of it, and they're coming out of it because you are focused on yourself, because you are in a higher vibrational energy and frequency of love and joy and happiness. And even though you had been going through a purge, especially the past several days, many of you have been experiencing this as well, even though you were going through a purge, you were still maintaining, what I'm hearing is your inner union. You were still maintaining that balance. You were still maintaining that peace within yourself. You weren't allowing the energy to kind of pull you back down. That's what the divine masculine needs. That's what it is to hold space. For you to keep that place of balance, keep that place of peace, keep focused on your sacred path, because your divine masculine is rising because of that. It's enabling your divine masculine to rise, but now they're standing on their own 2 feet rather than clinging to you. Now they are standing on their own 2 feet, which is a huge shift that is coming in for the divine masculine. So they might be going through a little bit of a dark night right now. It might feel very heavy. There might be a lot of anger and a lot of grief that they're experiencing, but they need to experience it in order to release it. They need to experience it in order to move through it. And they need to experience it, I'm hearing, in order for them to recognize their strength, their courage, and their connection to themselves. This is the divine masculine becoming fully aware of themselves. And the more they become fully aware of themselves, the more they are embodying that awareness. And when I say aware of themselves, I mean responsibility, holding themselves accountable, recognizing their pain patterns, being the conscious divine masculine that they truly are inside, that has been hidden behind all the distortions. This is a major change that is taking place. Now, how long is this going to take? I have no idea. It feels like energy is shifting day by day by day. Divine feminines, stay your course. Just hold that peace and that love within yourself. And allow yourself to be open. Be that open-hearted. Don't guard that heart. Don't shut that heart down. It is very easy to do, especially considering everything that you've been through. Divine masculine is becoming aware of everything that you've been through, especially when it comes to this connection and what you've experienced in this connection, which they had denied because it was too painful for them to face. But they're becoming aware of it. And the more they're aware of it, the more they are consciously wanting to change their behaviors, change themselves. But that is growth. That means expansion. That means growth. It's not changing of, you need to change for me. It's, I want to change for you. That is what a true divine partnership is about. It's about, I want to grow with you. I want to change for you. Not to who you think I should become, but because I know that you see me. This is masculine speaking. I know that you see me in my highest light. I know that you see me as my divine self. I haven't always felt that way. And that's what I want to change into. That's how I want to change, because I want to be the best version of myself for you. You want to be the best versions of yourself for each other. That's what divine partnership is all about. That's what expansion is. That's what growth is. That's what evolution is. It's becoming the best versions of yourself. So when we say changing each other, it's not, trying to form or fit a mold to be accepted. You're beyond that. No, we're done with that. That's where you were abandoning yourself. That's where you were betraying yourself. That's where you were neglecting yourself. You're not rolling with those punches anymore. Absolutely not. But now it's about, I'm going to keep embodying my highest self. You keep embodying your highest self. And that is where we meet. Wow. Okay. So, I don't know if we're going to pull cards today, you guys. I don't feel it. I feel like that's the message that wanted to come out. Let's pull a card. Let's just do it. Let's just pull a couple of cards, but that was the important message that was channeled there. So, divine masculine. See if we can get some confirmation cards. Divine masculine, or anything else we need to hear about the divine masculine, please. What's going on with the divine masculine? Nope. Let's try using this deck. You know what? Let's use this one. Pardon my reach. This is my friend Luna Marie's deck. It's one of my favorite decks. It's filled with so much energy right now. And if you're interested in this deck, there is an affiliate link where you can get 10% off in the description box. All right. Yeah, this feels good. Okay. Divine Masculine, please. Divine Masculine. Yeah. So we have storm warning, we have yang, and we have take time out. So this take time out is that hermit energy where you might not be hearing from your divine masculine. There might be a lack of communication, lack of meetups, etc. It's not, again, it's that protection energy. It's not that there is lack. It's that your person is just going very deep within right now. Then we have that storm warning, which is that tower energy. And then we have the yang, which is the masculine energy. So this is confirmation of what we're experiencing right now. And I'm not getting much more as far as the channeling because it's everything that we just channeled. Divine. And I do feel like your person is learning. I do feel like they are, if not researching, they might be called to certain books or certain new movies or music or something like that, certain blog articles or essays or something like that, where they are learning. But this feels really like self-development. This really feels like they're going deeper within themselves to understand themselves better. Okay, why do I react the way I do? Why do I act the way I do? Where is this actually coming from? And once they are aware of that, then they have the power to shift that. It's all about awareness. Awareness is the greatest key to growth because from awareness, you get to make the conscious decision of what to do next, what step to take next. Awareness is what awakening really is all about. Divine Feminines, you have thrown caution to the wind. Your dreams lie behind it. You are just going full speed ahead at that new doorway, that open gateway. This is the new cycle. It is here. That door is open. It was opened with the equinox is what they're telling me. There needed to be a little bit more stability. There needed to be a little bit more foundation built beneath you, and that's what you've been working on. This root chakra energy, this is that masculine energy. You have been healing the masculine energy within you where you are feeling safe and secure within yourself, where you have been building that foundation within yourself. Just like the masculine, we channeled that they're standing on their own 2 feet. This is you that is really, moving forward on your own 2 feet. This is you in your wholeness. Anything else for the Divine Feminine? Abundance and wrap up for winter, but it feels like winter wrap up. That's the actual phrase I'm getting. Rather than a time to hibernate, I feel like you're coming out of the hibernation mode. Like winter is wrapping up, that cycle is wrapping up, and now it's time for spring. Now it's time for this beautiful abundance to blossom. Unexpected windfall. This could be finances, this could be opportunities, this could be anything, but it is time. It is time. Yep, look, things are heating up. Summertime going to be especially important. Union energies. Commitment. Your connection is ascending, and what I'm actually getting is namaste. It's the energy of I see you, you see me. The divine in me sees the divine in you. We see each other. We are one with each other. What I'm actually getting is this is still grounding in the physical. This is you that's kind of like fully formed, fully balanced within the physical and the spiritual. And that's what we're here to do. We are here to balance the spiritual with our physical experience. We don't ignore the spiritual part. That's what it is to be quote unquote unawakened, where we're ignoring our soul self, where we're ignoring our spiritual being in favor of the material world. But there's the other end of the spectrum, which is spiritual ego, where we are so high up in the clouds, so to speak, where we are negating our physical experience, where we are negating life on earth. What it means to go through the process of ascension is to be the bridge. We are the bridge. You are the bridge. So what's happening here is the masculine, you see how it's like he's kind of still ethereal, but he's grounding this energy in. And so I feel like that's the process that they're going through, where you guys are meeting each other. A long time ago at the start of my channel, I channeled the phrase, meet me on the bridge of the heart. That is where you connect in the energetic realms. That is where you connect on the bridge of the heart, that heart chakra. The bridge is being grounded into physical reality, where there is going to be more communication, more togetherness, more commitment. Now, whether this is with the person that you thought was your divine counterpart or whether this is somebody else, this is somebody who is your match, somebody who is on your frequency, somebody who shares the same values, somebody who shares the same vision, and somebody who is operating from their higher state, from their best self, somebody with stability, somebody with commitment, somebody who is seeing you as their equal and honoring you, honoring that. So just as you are doing the same for them, remember that. So it feels like this is what is coming in, especially over the spring and summer months. This is what is anchoring in. This is what is grounding here. So that's your union energy, you guys. That's really beautiful. All right, I'm going to end here. I think we're going to call this a collective message. I will be back later this week with a true divine masculine, divine feminine reading. I was not expecting all of that channeling to come out, but that's just what happens sometimes. So I'm going to call this a collective message. Make sure you check it out, and stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I'm sending you so much love, so much light. We'll see you next time. Bye.